Woman solos childbirth with a little help from YouTube. Meet Tia Freeman. She's a U.S. Air Force analyst and all-around badass from Nashville, Tennessee. Last month, she did the incredible. Writing about her experience on her Twitter account, the 22-year-old said she was traveling to Germany via Istanbul, Turkey, when she began having stomach pain due to what she believed to be food poisoning. Spoiler alert, it most definitely wasn't. See, Freeman was very pregnant at the time and only found out about that mid-January. TLDR, she was on the pill, wasn't experiencing any periods and hadn't put on much weight, and the Germany trip was booked beforehand. And by that time, Freeman was told she was with child and in her 3rd trimester. Back to the story. Freeman powered through her flight until she arrived at Istanbul airport, where she was greeted with a massively busy customs area. Somehow, she made it to her hotel while she was in labor, and not knowing the emergency number or local lingo, she searched YouTube for how to deliver a baby. Freeman decided for a water birth, so she filled the bathtub with warm water, got into position, bit into a towel, and started to push. After 5 to 6 body-splitting pushes, a very buoyant baby boy was floating on the water's surface. Freeman named him Xavier Ada Freeman. But the story doesn't end there. She had to sever the umbilical cord, so how did she do that? With a little help from Google, sanitary bags, and a knife. She waited for the placenta to come out, and when it did, she ran to the toilet where it just plopped out. As a funny side note, Freeman also tweeted that running around with an umbilical cord hanging out gave her the idea of what it's like to have a certain part of a man's anatomy. But next she had to make the cut. Freeman says she sterilized shoelaces with boiled water from a kettle and used them as clamps. She poked it with her knife to see if it hurt her son, but it didn't, so she began cutting into it. Freeman says cutting it is tougher than it looks. But after that was done, she fed little Xavier, then went straight to bed. And no, the story doesn't stop here either. The next day, Freeman took Xavier to the airport. There was the police, medical staff, and customs. They asked a lot of questions because she had no child when she arrived. Freeman called the embassy to let them know about her situation. A while later, there was a knock on the door. Freeman was told someone was looking to take a photo of her. She thought it was part of an investigation. It wasn't. Outside the room was a swarm of media and photographers and reporters. Someone leaked her story to the press and it went viral in Turkey. But when all that was cleared up, Xavier got checked out of the hospital where he was given the all clear. And with a little help from a Turkish airline shuttle, Freeman made it to the embassy where she got her son's birth abroad birth certificate. According to BuzzFeed, Freeman never made it to Germany to see her buddy Jacob. But while he was traveling back to the US via Turkey 1 week later, he met her there, getting quite the surprise in the process. Now, back in the US, Freeman told BuzzFeed that she and Xavier are doing great and he's being spoiled by her family. Here's some more awesome stories. Faith in humanity restored. As wildfire devastated more than 90 acres of land in California, one man's random act of kindness toward a helpless creature instantly made him everyone's hero. The man had pulled over along Highway 101 near La Conchita after spotting a rabbit near the edge of the blaze. The animal darted into a burning bush, prompting the frantic bystander to jump up and down in a panic before rushing toward the inferno. He then reaches for something in the flames, eventually getting hold of the frightened bunny and carrying it to safety. A news photographer had filmed the daring rabbit rescue, which quickly went viral and made everyone and their mother collectively aww. The hero reportedly declined to be interviewed, but that didn't stop netizens from weighing in and piling on the praise for his selfless stunt.
Who's a clever boy then? This dog proved he's smarter than your average pooch when he broke out of his kennel earlier this week and wandered off into the night. The 10-year-old Great Pyrenees named General was lodging at an animal hospital in Stafford, Virginia, while his owners went to Virginia Beach on vacation. And as you can see from the footage, perhaps he wanted out so he could go join them. At around 4:15 a.m. on Monday, General busted out of his temporary accommodation, then opened at least 4 different doors in his heroic bid for freedom. He'd been staying at the animal hospital for the previous 2 nights, but clearly had had enough. Here we see the 124-pound dog making his way down a hallway, then sniffing around an office area. If General looks familiar with the surroundings, his owner said that's because the clever canine had been visiting the hospital for the past 10 months. Finally, General uses his mouth to open a door that leads him outside to a parking lot. Then off he went into the night. Around 3 hours later, hospital staff discovered General was missing and called his owners. The search for the dog went on for most of Monday. He was eventually found at 9 p.m., around 17 hours after he went missing in action. General was sitting in the garden of a nearby home, happy to be in the great outdoors and out of his cage. The dog's owners cut short their vacation to search for the beloved pet, and they were eventually reunited. So who's a clever boy then? Kind-hearted California cops raised $45,000 to give teen a better future. The Benicia, California Police Department is being hailed for its kindness after helping to raise nearly $45,000 to help out a hardworking teen. 4 months ago, Jordan Duncan was down on his luck. His vehicle broke down, meaning he had to trek 5 hours daily to and from work. Benicia PD officer Kirk Keffer spotted Duncan one night and asked him what was going on. Duncan told him about his car and how he was walking to work and trying to pay for car repairs and college. Inspired by the 18-year-old's work ethic, Keffer went to his local officers association to see if they could help. And help out they did. They got him a cool new bike to help with his commute to work. They also set up a GoFundMe page to help with Jordan's future, and it's received some $45,000 in donations from across the U.S. Because of that, Jordan was able to get a new car and now drives to work. And that's not all. Jordan is reportedly now studying to be a California Highway Patrol officer. So who knows? Maybe one day he can do the same for someone else down on their luck.